Welcome back everybody to part 3 of our renovation trailer. Today we're going to be talking about sort of tips and tricks that we've learned so far with doing the priming and painting.
The first step on our painting journey was actually picking our primer. We had to pick a primer that was good for vinyl trim, wood, as well as these wall panels. And what we learned along the way was it wasn't as easy as we thought. We were using a spray gun, and the spray gun that we chose was an air compressed spray gun. And what that meant was we put paint in and the air compressor was supposed to push it through. What ended up happening was the air compressor actually bubbled it out the top and we weren't able to get it on the walls.
It was a hot mess.
It was a hot mess, yes. The paint sprayer we ended up using was an electric airless paint sprayer. With the airless sprayer, we noticed that we weren't fighting against the compressed air and we weren't getting the chunks of paint ending up on the walls. What ended up happening though was we noticed after 2 fills of the gun, it started to come out in a sort of chunky manner that we didn't want on the walls. And it ended up dripping past the walls and down through them instead of onto them. So we had to fix that, and what we did was we ended up letting it dry for 24 hours and sanding it down.
So as you can see here, this is definitely an area where we use the compressed paint gun. It went on super chunky, so we will be sanding this down and applying a second coat with the airless gun. You definitely want to make sure that you filter your paint before you put it in the gun, and you want to use the instructions on the can to water it down based on the primer that you chose.
Between coats of primer, you're going to want to wipe down the surfaces that haven't been primed yet. There is a residue that ends up on the cabinetry or anything else that hasn't been primed. The paint will not stick to that if you don't wipe it off first. During this, we also found that we used a lot more primer than we anticipated. We ended up using almost 4 1-gallon cans of primer when we expected to use 2, so don't be shocked if you do use a little bit more product than you anticipated. The last thing that we wanted to share with you was don't be afraid to make mistakes. We've made mistakes along the way and it's all fixable.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Next week's video, we're going to take you through the completed priming of the unit and hopefully give you an update on the cabinets. So stay tuned.